We bought two nearly identical 182 Renault Clios with the intention of making them a fast-going...
Whoa, hold on a minute. Whoa. Right, let's speed you up on what happened last time in France. So we went to Le Mans with the intention of trying out my limited slip diff, my lightweight flywheel and my new brake pads. Before the morning session was even over, I destroyed my gearbox, see here. I managed to limp that home on 3 gears or 4 gears, got it repaired, got a standard clutch fitted. You could also go for an organic, but the paddle clutch was the issue, so don't get one of those unless you're racing. We then went to Cadwell Park so I could try out my new gearbox, my lightweight flywheel, standard clutch and my new strut brace. We didn't decide to film as it was a bit damp, so got some sessions in. Car was running amazingly, best sessions I've ever had, car felt great, and then French cars do French things. And this happened.
Right, what's happened?
My car's died.
Yeah, it's gone a bit kaput.
French things.
So here we are, getting pulled off the track. Ryan, what do you think it is?
The man said cam belt, so we're probably
A few moments later.
Yeah, mate. Oh, hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
Keep going, you're right.
At least we're not stuck in France.
Yeah,
that is the one best thing, is we're not stuck in France.
True. Which leaves us with our current situation. We're waiting on Jay to bring a compression tester to see if this engine is indeed broken or not. But while we wait, we're going to cover all the mods we did in the past year and let you know which mods we liked, which ones we didn't, and which ones were worth spending your hard-earned money on. So starting with the first episode, we did intakes and we got the K-Tech induction kit for £140. Rob, what did we think?
I already had one installed on my car, so I kind of knew what it felt like already. But when I drove Ryan's for the first time, a bit underwhelming. And then he put the intake kit on. What was it? 14 extra horsepower?
About that.
And it made a huge difference. Quite surprised. The induction noise, really nice.
Fully agree.
Really
the
nice.
Induction noise was worth the money alone, and the extra horsepower, well, why aren't you going to do it? That's probably the best mod we did, I think, or I did.
Yeah, it's a stupid thing not to have it.
Definitely spend your money on that first if you're doing any mods. Next up we had brakes, and we both started with Brembos, nice and cheap. So they were very good for our first few track days, but then we got a lot faster. I then changed to PBS pads, which out of all the brake pads I tested were the best. They had great grip on track and didn't make any noise on the road. When I changed to the Carbon the Reins, squealed like hell. No one wants to,
horrendous.
You don't want to put up with that when you're just driving every day, so forget that. You managed to get a fake set of Brembos.
Yep, that last track day, they cooked within about, what, 4 sessions?
Yeah.
And they disappeared. It was metal on metal and...
Not good.
Not good at all. Luckily, someone on track had a spare set of, what, yellow
BBC yellow stuffs.
Yeah, yellow stuffs.
Make sure you get genuine.
Yep.
Now, tyres. I started with Pirellis, which were not bad.
I started with knockoff anything, whatever it was.
Whatever was on there.
Yep.
So you then went to Acceleras.
Yep, 651s, and they've been amazing.
Happy with them.
Yeah.
I went to Nankang's. We're going to put up what 2 models on screen I had. Both were fantastic. The last racier, more slick set, I was actually surprised how well they gripped in the wet. Really impressed with that. The LSD, which came later, might have helped that, but super impressed with them. Probably not a great road tyre unless it's during the summer, but overall the Nankangs are fantastic. And then lastly, wheels.
Wheels. I brought the fake knockoff OZs. Where's Ryan?
I bought genuines.
Yeah.
Now, are they worth the money? I mean, they look cool, they're lightweight. We didn't test the difference in weight between the two, so we couldn't tell you how much lighter they are.
But we know there's definitely a lot of difference.
There's definitely going to be a difference.
Definitely.
But that's probably not what you want to buy first and spend the money on. There's better mods you can spend the money on.
100%, 100%.
So Rob's car had lowering springs and he didn't really change anything, so nothing much to report. I'm sure it feels a lot better than a normal car would. It definitely felt better than my car when it was on standard suspension. I've gone for Gas Golds, as you found out in the earlier episodes. Not any problems with them, felt fantastic. And then I've also got the White Line rear anti-roll bar. It does make a difference compared to what everyone does say. It stiffens up the rear, and we felt that when we put that on at Donington. Can't really recommend it enough. They're very compliant, good for the road. You can soften them off, tighten them up. We had a track day where we stiffened them up, a couple of clicks on the front, and can't recommend enough. Really good. If I was going to change anything, might try Bilsteins out, but overall worth the money, and probably the third mod I'd do right after the intake and the steering wheel, so definitely worth doing. So we started out with standard seats. They did a very good job, very comfortable. Side bolsters hold you in well enough. However, there's no lower bolster. But as a seat which comes standard in the car, fantastic. What did you?
Very comfortable. Very comfortable. But like you say, not much support. So when you are on track, you do slide about a bit.
Yeah, you get slung about. Yeah. Then we put the bucket seats in. So we both bought seats around £100 second hand. Hold you in. If you are going to do it, don't go Rob's route unless you're on a budget and use your normal seatbelt.
Hey, look, if you've got to save up, you've got to do what you've got to do.
But ideally, at the end result, you want to be safe. Put your half cage in. You do lose the rear seats, which isn't practical if you're using this every day still.
But if you're going on track, it's definitely worth it.
100%. And then what you do want to do if you're not putting a cage in, maybe you can go Renault Trophy route where they've got the Recaros in there and you get a nice happy medium. And then do we think that's worth spending the money on?
With the price of them, if you're really wanting to, yes. But if you want to go full track and have it as a track road car, then yes.
Yes.
Get the cage and everything else.
If you're on track a lot, do it. If not, it's probably something which can wait or even get left. Let's talk shifters. So we both started with the Renault standard shifter.
Yep.
The only problems with that is it's too low down and too far away. Any comments on that?
Yeah, mine's still standard. I haven't upgraded like Ryan. It is too far away, especially when you get a bucket seat that doesn't move, but it's not horrendous. It could be worse for the standard gearbox and the standard.
It's just not ideal, is it?
No, it's not ideal at all.
So what you can do, you can put the Scenic shifter in. We didn't look too much into that mod, and I went for this lovely PMS Motorsport one, which is a lot higher, a lot nearer. I don't think the throw's any shorter. It feels about the same, but the only problem is...
It makes a lovely noise. Ready?
So it rattles like anything.
Yeah, horrendous.
As long as you can turn your radio up, it's not too bad, but it's not something you'd want to live with.
Not turn it up, you've got to just blow the speakers.
Yeah, blow the speakers up. Yeah. So if you can tolerate it, worth the money, but you definitely wouldn't spend your money on it.
No, I wouldn't. For the difference in it, I don't see it's worth it.
So position-wise, perfect, but you probably want to look up the Scenic mod.
100%.
Now let's talk steering wheels. I started with the gigantic boat steering wheel they have in the Clio. It's the worst steering wheel I've ever had in any car I've driven. Would you agree?
Horrendous. The worst one I've ever seen.
So Rob had a slightly smaller steering wheel, but mine is even smaller than that.
Yep. After driving Ryan's, I feel like I'm cruising.
So we can't recommend this steering wheel enough, especially with the controls. Keeps your cruise control, keeps your limiter, keeps the horns on there. That was 60 quid from Volantech.
Also, gives you more of a feel when you actually turn into the corners. You've got more feel on the steering wheel, you've got more feel into the corners. So a lot better.
Even more benefits of a small steering wheel. So that's probably the second best mod we recommend.
Yep, not a day difference.
Nice and cheap. Go buy one. Jay arrived with the compression tester and we set to work to see if the engine was alive or dead. We've tested the compression tester now and it works, so let's see if it works on the engine. I think my engine's broken.
I'll build you an engine. That's fine, we'll take the head off.
And lastly, we're going to talk about all the mods I did, which you didn't get to see because my car likes to die. So between France and Cadwell, I put this front strut brace on, and during the morning, I had 2 incredible sessions. This car was the best it's ever been. It was literally poetry in motion. I came running off track and I was like, Rob, you need to drive this. Then we went out and killed it. Before Rob even got a go, I think I did a lap and a half and then it died.
Very sad.
Very sad. So strut brace, I couldn't tell you, but as a whole, it was great. I also had the lightweight flywheel in there. It revs quicker, but I had that for France, so that was good. And a slip diff. So France, it was dry, so I couldn't tell you how much of a difference that made, but Cadwell was mixed. It was damp and it stayed damp. Incredible, probably the best mod you can do as far as grip. Couldn't recommend that enough. Is it worth spending the money on? I would say so. That was a really good mod. Any other mods we haven't done? We could have done bigger calipers. So there was Willwood for these to fit under there, the 197 brakes, there's cams. There's tons of mods we can do. However, now we know the engine's broken, we're going to decide whether we swap it out and put a new one in, which will hopefully get it back on the road, or I can just set it on fire and get another track car. So let us know what you want to see. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time, hopefully.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.